Okay guys, I want to introduce you guys to my little girly. Little baby, look at my little baby. Is that you on the camera? Oh, is that you? Do you see yourself? Look at it. Oh, the lights are too bright. The lights are too bright, huh? Oh no, no. Is that better? Is that better, puppies? You want to say hi? Say hi. Say hi, puppies. Say hi. Hi guys, I know it's been a really long time since you've seen me on my page. I have changed my name. I don't know if you're now noticing. I now have changed it to what I'm going to be doing more, which is motherhood and makeup instead of makeup over boys, which I know is a little weird, but I don't want to do that conversation on this video because a lot of mommies have been requesting this video. I'm really sorry. I'm actually really late. My son is now 8 months, which I know is super crazy. He is now 8 months. He has already mastered his crawling. He's getting to the stage where he wants to climb on not climb, but like stand on everything. And he's kind of getting a little bit more confident to where he's letting one hand go when he stands, and his balance is getting a lot better. So this is super overdue. Okay, so I've actually composed a list of things that I want to talk about in regards to the 0 to 3 months must-haves. And these are things that have worked for me. I'm a first-time mommy, so everything that I've tried, I've only tried once. So I can't really give you expert advice on things that have worked for multiple kids because I know that every baby is different. So this is things that have worked for mine and my baby. My baby is Gilly. Well, we named him after his dad, so it's Gilbert, but we call him Gilly. And so these are things that have worked for him and have worked for me and my husband throughout our first 3 months of him being a baby. I know it's called the 4th trimester, and it definitely fits its name because the first 3 months are definitely difficult if you don't know what the hell you're doing. So these items really helped us in, you know, surviving that 4th trimester. And yeah, we're pros now, you know. Throw on the 2nd kid, whatever. So let me go ahead. I did make a list last night. I'm actually going to go through the list as I wrote it down, so I'm sorry if I'm all over the place. The first things I'm going to talk about is the Muslim swaddle blankets. So we used the Muslim blankets a lot when he was a baby, just to swaddle him, whether it was during nap times, whether he was asleep at night. We use these Muslim blankets like crazy. So these are the ones that we like the best. We had a couple brands, but the ones that I always kind of went back to are the Cloud Island. They have a whole bunch of different designs, whether you have a girl, whether you have a boy, whether you want something gender neutral. So these were great. The next thing I'm going to talk about is about a swing, so baby swing. I didn't actually use it as much just because whenever the baby was with me, the baby always wanted to be on my breast or in my arms. My husband actually got a really good use of it. Fisher Price Sweet Snugga Puppy. And I'm going to go ahead and put some videos and some pictures of the baby in it. Honestly, that thing saved us, I want to say, the first couple of months in regards to naps. He just fell asleep on it sooner. So for me, I wouldn't let Gilly nap on the swing, and that's something that me and my husband both were really good about. We only let the swing kind of entertain him while he was awake, or put him to sleep, and then we would go ahead and grab him and transfer him onto the crib or the pack and play or his bassinet, anything that is, you know, safe for him to sleep on. For the next item, it's the Baby Bjorn. I'm not sure if I'm saying it correctly, but it's the carrier that we have been using the most. We got this actually as a gift from my job, where I was working at, and it's literally been the most amazing creation ever. Like, we personally would have not bought this on our own. It is more on the pricier side, and that's not something I would have probably looked into, but I will recommend it, as like now that I've tried it, and like we use it for everything. We use it everywhere, and now looking back, I'm like, okay, yeah, the price kind of justifies it. But this is what it looks like, and you literally just put it on. Maybe I should just show you guys. you put it on, and then you could do one side, and then the baby kind of just goes in. And what I love about this that I haven't seen in other carriers, but I could be wrong, please comment down below if there's something similar to this, and it's cheaper. So this one has little slide-in attachments, and it works perfect because it's so easy when it's just one person and you don't have help. You just slide it on top, and then like it just goes down and it clips. And it goes for the same thing for the side. It's kind of hard because I don't have a baby with me. But you just slide it in here, push these little buttons or whatever, slide it the other way around, and then you just pull it out. And same thing for this little button right here, and you just pull it out, and it's super easy. You just take the baby out. So I'm looking at the website, and it says that it's for infants to toddlers from anywhere from 8 pounds to 33 pounds. So the next item is the Comotomo bottles, and I knew that I wanted to breastfeed from the very beginning, but I knew that I also wanted to do bottles just in case I wasn't around, or I was sleeping, and my husband Gilbert is able to feed them and stuff like that. So I knew I wanted bottles. And when I was doing my research, I noticed that Comotomo was very popular among the breastfeeding community. So I decided to give it a go, and it has actually been one of Gilly's favorite bottles. He loves the fact that he's able to kind of squeeze it. They're just super cute. Like, they're every time I have this bottle out and somebody hasn't seen it before, they're like, "Oh, what bottle is that?" Like it's just super cute. Like, you just don't see these bottles. They have these little air pockets or whatever. It helps with them not sucking in so much air. So definitely recommend these for mommies. They also say that the nipple is very similar to the breast. There's not a lot of nipple confusion when it comes to these bottles. And then another item that I have that I don't have with me because my sister actually is giving birth very soon, so I did give her like a little care package of things that worked really well for Gilly. So hopefully it works for her. It's the Love to Dream Swaddle Up, and pretty much it's like this. Gilly loved, from the very beginning, he loved having his hands up in his face. It was just something that he was very comforted by. It soothed him to sleep. So from the very beginning, he always wanted to have his hands up here. And I would say that the moment that we used that swaddle up, it was the best night's sleep that we had got in weeks. So definitely recommend it. It has the same guidelines as a swaddle. So pretty much when the baby has started rolling over, then it's time to kick it to the curb. I would say the cheapest that you could probably find it is at Bye Bye Baby. Definitely sign up for their newsletter so you're able to get the 20% off, because it is a little bit pricey. For one swaddle up, it's about 30 bucks, 25 to 30 bucks. Okay, now in regards to breastfeeding. So we had a really hard time breastfeeding. The baby was not latching on, and I have a whole blog up of how that process went. So I will just put the recommendation, and the recommendation for when they are babies is if the baby is not latching, then I really recommend the nipple shield. And the one that I got is a Medela. It's the breast pump brand, and pretty much it's just this shield that you put over your nipple that kind of extends your nipple, and your baby's kind of able to latch better. And then as your baby gets better with breastfeeding, with latching and with sucking, then you would go ahead and remove that, and the baby should get better with latching onto your own breast. And that is what happened with Gilly. And so, like I said, we are now going 8 months strong. So, and I really owe it to that nipple shield. Now, in regards to tummy time, my baby really did not like tummy time. I want to say as much as any other baby, he did not like tummy time. He cried every single time we put him down. It was just like really impossible to get him to like tummy time. So we did do a couple of things that helped us. Some of the things that we did is, of course, we used the activity mat, which I highly recommend. The one that we got, he loved everything. He loved the things. He loved the things that were over. He loved the little piano. He loved the songs. Me and my husband, I'm not going to lie, we know every single song on that little playlist, because that's how much we used it. And so what we would do is that we would lay him on the activity mat and kind of let him just do his thing. Whenever he would start getting fussy or crying, I would kind of get eye level to him. I would use like a little mirror because he loved looking at himself, or he loves the reflection or whatever. Majority of babies do. So I would put a mirror right next to him so he would kind of get distracted of the fact that he was fussy. And then I would also get eye level to him because he loved looking at me, and I would start making little silly faces and laughing, and like I said, just kind of distracting him from the fact that he was having an uncomfortable time. And then also I would also use the boppy. And so I will put some pictures up of how I used it. So pretty much I would put the boppy down, and then I would put him up right here. And I think it actually has a way that you could put him for tummy time. Yeah, so it's like the 6 months recommendation for tummy time, but we were 1-2 months and we were using this for tummy time. So he would love it. We would always be putting him on, well, I would always be putting him on here. We practiced a lot. And if he did kind of start slumping down, I knew that, you know, he would be falling on this pillow and not on something, not a hard surface or anything like that. Gilly started rolling very early. He started rolling about 2 months. So it was kind of like a quick transition of what we had to do in order to stop swaddling and start putting him in sleep sacks that he was safe in. So what we did is that Swaddle Me was a really good transition, because when the baby swaddled with his arms down, and then the Love to Dream Swaddle Up, he kind of starts having his arms up. So he's not used to kind of being bundled up. And then when he started rolling over and we had to take off the swaddling, we decided to start getting some sleep sack. I started looking up at Target and Amazon, and the two that I found personally for me that were really, really good, or Gilly loved, were these Carter Simple Joys by Carter, and this is a 0 to 3 months. And pretty much we would just put footy pajamas, and then we would put this over. So this is the one from Target. This is Just You by Carter's, just one U from Carter's, and this is the Microfleece. And this one we've loved. We have 4 of them, and the only thing I can complain about is that they only have, well, the only ones I found were 2 different designs. So it's this one and then the white yellow one. Yeah, like we don't use any blankets on baby Gilly. We follow the ABCs, and I'm very strict about that when it comes to, you know, me and how my husband raised our baby. And so we use, like I said, only sleep sacks, and that way we know the baby's warm. Obviously I've had to test this out with my baby. These were great, and these were only like $8.99 at Target. And then in regards to Target, we also bought these little onesies. These came in a 3-pack. And they were the price was super good. I don't remember exactly, but I want to say it was anywhere from $15 to $16. And these are the little onesies. We loved them so much that we got these, which were the 0 to 3 months, and now we have the 6 to 9 months. And they come in 3s. And what I like about these is that they open up from the bottom, and which is super, super helpful. That way when you're changing the baby in the middle of the night, or wherever you're changing him, you don't have to take the whole top part off. Let me show you guys the 3 sets. So it's this one, this one, oh, backwards, this one, and this one. And they also have little handcuffs, so if your baby tends to have cold hands in the middle of the night, just go ahead and cover these. I've been using the Owlet, and it's this monitor that you put on the foot of the baby, and pretty much it tells you their heart rate and then also their oxygen level. So pretty much it just kind of gives you a little bit of reassurance, which is what I need, especially with my first baby. I was obviously, with the miscarriage that I had, I was very, very, very paranoid, and I needed that little extra reassurance at night just to make sure that my baby was okay. And so we did buy the Outlet, a recommendation from one of my cousins. And so what we do is that we put it on just at night, and then we take it off immediately in the morning. And so pretty much it also helps as a sleep trainer type of thing. So it tells you, it shows you on there how long the baby has been asleep, what time he woke up, and how long he was awake, and how long he's been asleep. So there's an app, and it has all that information on there. The reason I decided to stick with it, because we did try it. I was like, we'll try it, and then if I'm not happy with it, or if it makes me too paranoid, then we're gonna go ahead and just discontinue the use. But the reason why I kept sticking with it is because there was this one night where my baby's oxygen level went down really, really low. And so what I did is that I adjusted it, because sometimes that could be an issue. It gives you false readings if you don't have the sock on correctly. So I went ahead and I, readjusted the sock, just making sure that it wasn't that. And then what happened was that the oxygen level was still going low, and it was going down to the 90s. And so I was just like, okay, like, what's going on? My baby did have a cold at the time, so I was like, maybe he just has a stuffy nose. Maybe I did, a lot of things were running through my mind. So I decided to go ahead and check, kind of monitor it. It was really, really late at night, and I just kind of kept monitoring it on the application, and it started going down 85. Once it started going down to 85, I called Kaiser, and I was just like, okay, what should I do? I'm really worried. They obviously told me to check for certain things like retraction. I was listening to his breath, and it kind of sounded like kind of when you smash Rice Krispies. And so you could hear that in his lungs. And so it was going down really low, and it started going down to 80s. Once it went down to about 80, they did tell me and my husband to go in and get the baby checked out. It ended up being that the baby tested positive for RSV. So once that happened, and it just kind of reassured me that, this little device does work. And a lot of people are gonna talk about it, but for me it was really, really helpful. And so that's just a little heads up for anybody that's interested in getting it. I love it. So once Gilly had really good head control, we were able to put him up on this thing called the Sit Me Up, and we loved it. So like I said, I'll go ahead and link down everything below. The seat is kind of at a slight angle, so he's not necessarily sitting up straight. So it's perfectly fine for, I believe, starting ages 2 months. And we loved it. It was kind of a chance for him to get used to sitting up in a way, and then also work on his head control. And there was little toys and little books that we were able to place in front of him, and we knew he was safe where he was sitting. So I'm not going to lie, in my mommy groups they did call it the Shit Me Up. And the reason why they called it that is because as soon as Gilly would go on it, I don't know how, well, I'm pretty sure because he was sitting up, it helped his bowel movements, but he would go poop as soon as we put him on this little seat. So we loved it, and we still use it sometimes for snacks. So definitely recommend that. Another thing that we liked using with the Sit Me Up, and pretty much anywhere, whether we were doing tummy time or we were in the car, is these black and white books. So I also have had another book that I'll let my sister borrow or have. It's pretty much just a white and black book that has shapes and animals and stuff like that. So babies, when they're born, when they're infants, they can only see the contrast colors. So these books are really good because they're kind of able to see the shapes, and they're kind of fascinated with all the different things on the page. As time went by, he also really liked the crinkly part of it, so he liked these type of crinkle books. Since we're on the conversation of books, he also really liked this. It's a hedgehog. It's like a soothing hedgehog, and like I said, I'll leave the information down below. And it vibrates, and it also has little lullabies. So Gilly really liked this when he was younger, because we would kind of, whenever he was laying down, we would place it right under his arm, and it would kind of soothe him to sleep. And so we just ended up giving him the name Henry the Hedgehog, and I just think it's so super cute. And then he also really, really loved, I was talking to my husband, what toys did Gilly really love, and he really loved this little turtle. We would go ahead and hang it from wherever, because it has a little clip that you could detach. And so we bought this. I'm not sure if this was a gift or we bought this, but I did see it at like Burlington and Ross and all those different types of stores, those little stores that have the random merchandise. So I did see that there. So this is really cute. Like he loved the little crinkly things, and he would also love putting this in his mouth. And then there's also like a little mirror, so when we would hang this on this swing, he would be staring at himself in the little mirror. So he really loved this, so I definitely recommend this little turtle. So when it comes to like fashion or whatever, I don't really have a lot that I'm like, oh, you need to get this, but when it comes to booties, you need to get this. So these are the little booties that we would have little Gilly in. Pretty much they do have a little Velcro. These would not come off. Like no matter what he did or who was holding him or, you know, wherever we placed them, these would not come off. Okay, so for butt creams. Let's talk about butt creams. We did end up using this one a lot more than we thought we were going to, just because we were recommended the Destatine a lot. I just got this one just because it was recommended to me, so I went ahead and I got this one just thinking that, you know, I would just have this just in case. We ended up actually I liked this one a lot better. And then another one that we really liked for the next time that he got a rash was this one. The rash went away really fast. This was the Aquaphor 3-in-1 diaper rash. And then my baby does have a lot of rolls, so we did notice that like his skin was kind of rubbing against each other and leaving kind of like little rashes and stuff. So for his little dry skin on the sides, we were using the actual ointment, this one, and we noticed results like literally right away. As soon as the next diaper change, we noticed that, you know, everything was going away. So definitely recommend these three if you are looking into just kind of having a certain little stockpile of, you know, diaper rashes, because like I said in the beginning of the video, every single baby is different, and just because it works for one person will not mean that it's going to work for your baby. And so you kind of have to like kind of experiment, and that's why there's so many sample sizes when it comes to baby stuff, because you're gonna need to sample everything on your baby to see what works for them. And a couple little random items. I know I've mentioned so many, but another couple of little items that I recommend is this skin soother from Frida. This is the one that I use since the very beginning of when he was a baby, even during one of his first baths. This is the one I would use. You could use this one from head to toe. Another thing is the Oogie Bear, and this is for the nose and for the ears. And this has a little bear on the sides, and this kind of helps to prevent you from going too far in, either in the nose or in the ears. I'm not gonna lie, it is on the pricier side. It's been definitely worth it. It's obviously reusable. You just continue to wash it, sanitize it. The next item I'm going to talk about is this Mylicon, and this is the gas drops that we used on Gilly. Like I said, you know, obviously babies are a little gassy in the beginning because their bodies are not used to digesting whatever it is that they're eating, whether it's formula or breast milk. Fix this, whether it's formula or breast milk, so they do need a little bit of help to relieve that gas. And so obviously you do your kicks, your bicycle kicks, your you know, the motions that you do with the legs just to kind of relieve that. But if that's not enough, especially when the baby's kind of up all night and it's honestly just hurting the baby, you do need to have some kind of gas relief. We would kind of go back and forth between these two things. So we would definitely use the Mylicon, and it helped him so much. Even up to this day, every now and then, now that he's starting solids, or now that he has started solids, he does get a little constipation every now and then. So we do kind of have to help him with a little bit of gas drops, but we for the most part, we kind of let his body figure it out. But that's just kind of like when he, you know, nothing else works. And then we also swear by the gripe water. This is the Mommy Bliss gripe water, and we love this. Me and my husband, honestly, it was so hard to get him to sleep sometimes at night, just because he was so uncomfortable with the gassiness. He was very uncomfortable with the gassiness, and if nothing else works, obviously we would try to do whatever it is that we could do before we would try this. But definitely make sure you have this in your medicine cabinet, just to make sure if baby ever gives you a really hard night, it's probably because the baby is very gassy. So definitely recommend this. And this is amazing. So Gilly, from the very beginning, whenever we would give him something, he would spit it right back. What we ended up having to buy, because the baby, every time we would give him gripe water or gas drops, he would just spit it right back, is we had to buy this Frida medicine pacifier, pacifier. I'm not sure exactly what it's called. So pretty much it's this like medicine syringe, and it has the measurements on here. And then this is pacifier. So pretty much is you would give him the pacifier, you would put your medicine in here, you would squeeze this pacifier in there, and then you just, and the good thing about it is that Gilly, we wouldn't even have to do that. We wouldn't even have to force it out. Gilly would actually end up sucking that, and this would just start going down on its own and at his own pace. Anyways, I really hope you guys enjoyed this little must-haves. Like I said, I am a first-time mom, so these things helped baby Gilly. And like I said, every baby is different, so whatever worked for him may not work for another baby. But definitely leave your recommendations down below, or if something similar worked for you, I want to know that too. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Bye guys.